It is Tuesday at the Breakfast Club, and we are recapping Butt Touches and VidCon Industry track. Hey everyone, it is Tuesday here at the Breakfast Club, and I am your host, Sister Danger, and I think when I last left you guys, it was probably around the beginning of May. I actually got you can still even hear it in my voice. I had this horrible case of bronchitis that lasted for about 2.5 weeks. I went to the doctor twice. It was very bad. So anywho, the topic that I had broached in the last video I was able to make was about a scenario in a pub where I was talking to a guy and he kind of did this casual graze across my butt, and I was like, hey guy, not cool. And in the aftermath, when I was talking to some of the other guys out on the deck who are regulars, you know, they were pretty divided. Some of them felt that it was straight up sexual harassment, and some of them felt like this is how you go about hitting on somebody if you're interested in trying to, you know, get with them or whatever. I think the most interesting point that was brought up by everybody was actually Serious Mind, and he mentioned that with positive consent, it has the potential to inadvertently place somebody in a position where if they were to try to make a rape claim or charge after the fact, that if they changed their mind after having given their consent, but they didn't vocalize the latter, they now are on record essentially as having given positive consent, and that is the only thing that they can really say, you know, in court. And I found that interesting. I hadn't really ever thought about it from that angle before. Between JJ Talks and Gothet Funk and Nathan and everyone, I really just two things kind of jumped out at me as sort of being these consistent messages were, one, harassment is a series of unwanted interactions. It's continual. It isn't just a person did a thing once, you said stop, and they stopped. That isn't harassment. Harassment is when it is an ongoing thing. And I actually tend to agree with that. I didn't consider what this guy did. I would have considered it that if he hadn't stopped. Another one of the messages that I felt like I heard that was consistent from everyone in some way, shape, or form was that communicating your intent on both sides of the fence for men and for women, and whether your intent, you know, is to go forward or to stop, is important to the matter. You know, you have to say something. You cannot just sit silently in the situation and hope that it's interpreted properly. Anyway, thank you everybody for replying. That was a pretty interesting night for me. So moving on to VidCon, I'm sure everybody knows VidCon was this last week. So VidCon was basically divided into 3 different types of badges. You had a community badge, a creator badge, and an industry badge. And I went on an industry badge. So I wanted to talk about my experience a little bit with what that track entailed. The community track was the main floor, sort of where all the exhibitors were, where all of the teenage fangirls and fanboys were running around, you know, chasing their favorite YouTubers and hanging out, taking selfies, doing all the fun stuff. The second floor was the creator floor, so you had a little less with the, you know, 12-year-olds running around and more with actual content creators on YouTube. And then, of course, here there were socials and meet and greets and panelists talking about various topics. And then the floor above that was the industry floor, and this floor consisted of keynote speakers and panelists that were giving presentations that spoke directly to a pretty hard data back end for not just creating YouTube videos, but creating actual ads. So if you were in the marketing or advertising industry in some way, shape, or form, a lot of these panels were well suited for you. So while I was there, I took the time to go around to the other floors just to see what the different tracks were like in comparison to one another. So between the creator track and the industry track, I definitely found the industry track to be the most beneficial. It spoke directly to how to produce videos, what you should be putting in them. If you're making ads, how to be making ads, how to actually strategize. If you are somebody who monetizes your videos, it talked about how to deal with both Facebook and YouTube algorithms so that your videos aren't getting demonetized. Many of the presenters that were on the industry track were very, very generous, and they offered to send out their slide decks of their presentations to anybody that wanted them after the fact. So I got those that I could from there. And then also I just took, a lot of pictures of the slides as they were going by in the talk. I will be happy to share any of that. I took notes in all of my panels, except for maybe the ones on the creator track. So one of the differences that I really noticed between the creator track and the industry track is that between the two of them, the creator track was so much more experiential based. It was YouTubers largely, at least the panels that I happened to get in on. It was YouTubers talking about their experiences in creating videos and content, etc., and the communities that are around that. Whereas the industry track was less about the experience of the YouTube creator and more about what it is in these, in your videos or your ads that certain demographics of people are looking for, what will cause them to be flagged, what will cause them to not get impressions out there. So it was pretty fascinating. It was it spoke to a lot of back-end data, and I took a lot of notes. I'm happy to share any of that with any of you. I will say though that being there and meeting a lot of YouTubers whose videos I watch was awesome. I mean, it was really, really amazing. The group of people everybody was just so fun and really nice. Some very cool conversations took place, and I'm excited to see what's going to happen in the future. There's talk right now of a convention in the planning with a focus on free speech and free, issues surrounding it. So I'm just really looking forward to seeing where kind of the skeptic community goes from here, and feel super energized. Anywho, thank you guys. I'm sorry it took me so long. I don't know if I'll be doing a video here for another couple of weeks, but I will eventually be back. So I hope everybody has an awesome Tuesday, and smash the like button and shares and do all that stuff. I will see you all on the flip side. Bye.